Hi everyone, Silver Joker here. Okay, so I had a viewer to my channel reach out to me with a video idea he thought would be very interesting. So he asked if he could send me 2 American Silver Eagles that he had some issue with. And he was wondering if I'd take it down to Phil and have Phil inspect them. All right, so I agreed. I thought that would be a good idea. So he sent them to me. I got them and took them down to Phil. And I think you guys will find the process that Phil used to inspect these coins very interesting. And he also showed us a collection of some of the counterfeits he's collected over the years. And I think you guys will find that very interesting. So if you want to see what that looks like, stick around. Also, if you like what you see and you want to support my channel, then the best and easiest way you can do that is by simply smashing that like button. By doing so, you show YouTube that you enjoy the content that I produce. So YouTube puts my video where more people can see it. It's a small task for you, but it means so much to my channel. And if you want to see more videos like this one, simply subscribe. Ring that bell and you'll be notified as soon as I put out another video. Thank you. Phil, so I guess we could talk about this a little bit. See, I got this right here, these coins here, from a viewer to my channel. He sent these to me. He thought they were fake. He thought they weren't real. That he had some issues with them. So I figured it'd be a good idea to make a video. Maybe we can help some people out, try to identify some of this stuff. But anyway, this is what they look like. And
yeah, on Silver Eagles, typically, visually, you can almost tell if they're not real, because a lot of times I've not seen a really good fake Silver Eagle in terms of, you can get the weight right and you can get the fact that it's not magnetic, but the problem is the strike on the coin and the date typically just doesn't look right. So before we throw it on the meter and verify that these are probably fake, let's pull, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same date, but let's pull an eagle out and see if we can see any difference, not necessarily in the color of the coin, because these are obviously darkened, right. But what do we see in terms of differences in these? Well, keep in mind the pressure they use in the U.S. Mint. It's tons of pressure they put on these coins, so you get a much better strike, a lot more detail. These seem to, the counterfeits have a tendency to be struck, but they're not as deeply struck, and some of the details just are not as accurate as they should be.
Now, I'm waiting to see, but I got a feeling I may be wrong about this. I mean, because we haven't tested it, so I don't know. Okay, so I haven't tested it. We haven't tested it, so we don't know. So I got a feeling I could be wrong. I mean, it might be real. It just doesn't look real to me. I mean, what do you think, just from eyeballing it without really testing it?
And just looking at it, not having any calipers on it, I mean, it looks a tiny bit. It is. It's just a tiny bit. The diameter is just if you can maybe do a comparison, the diameter is just not there either.
Yeah, look at that. It is. It's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could see that. If that can be visible in the thing, but you can see that the corner underneath is just a little bit bigger than that thing. Yeah, I noticed that now.
You're sitting at home, you get these in, or somebody offers these for sale, and you don't have a machine. Let's say, what can you do at home to look for something that is counterfeit? Well, you put a magnet on it, and these are obviously the earth magnets, fairly strong. It's not magnetic, so okay. It passes that test.
Right.
And you say, well, so far so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you do is you look at the strike and what we were talking about. If you look at the dates on these, a lot of times they can't get the date correct on them in terms of the look of the date. It's not, obviously they're going to use multiple dates, but just the numbers on the dates look different than the normal numbers on an eagle. So if you can have a authentic eagle, look at the numbers themselves and see how they look.
Yeah, I can see that.
Different. So that's the second thing you would look for.
Yeah, the numbers do look different. The numbers on the authentic one here are a lot more defined. They actually look just a little bit bigger, to be honest with you. These look smaller, and they look, and look, you can see where it looks like it's been pressed on there instead of just the straight strike. These, because you can see kind of some dimples around the, you can see some dimples around the date. Yeah, I see that. And this is a lot better strike there with the dates. Yeah, you can see, definite dimples in that date where you can see it looks, that's obvious now that you point that out. That is obvious. Yeah, those have been, you can see where the date looks like it's been put on there a little differently than the one that's on here. Wow, that is amazing.
So the next thing you would do is throw it on a scale. If it's off by more than 5/100 of an ounce, it's fake. Right. They get these, what I would consider nearly perfect, 1.000 troy ounces. So if you get a coin, you can throw it on a scale, and it's off considerably, you know that the U.S. Mint's not going to put that out as either heavy or light. Either way, it's going to raise a red flag. What we did too, if you have an authentic coin, put it on top to see if the diameter is different. If the diameter is different, don't buy it.
So how's the weight go? Can we weigh that and see?
We can throw it on the scale and see what the weights are. And then the rays, you can see go through on this one, go through the middle of the L for Liberty. The rays here, if you can see, L is kind of sandwiched between the two rays. That's a good sign to look for also.
Now, can you explain that again?
The first L in Liberty here, you can see how the rays sandwich. L is kind of sandwiched between two rays. On the authentic eagle, you can see how the ray goes through the L.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yep. I see that.
And I'm sure...
And you can even look, and that L is totally different.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's, you could sit there all day and probably pick out a lot of differences between the two, and whatever you feel comfortable with. Now, all counterfeits are obviously not made by the same counterfeiting company, so you might, again, find some differences between counterfeits even. But if you have an authentic silver eagle, and you don't have anything else to compare it to, that is, visually is what you need to do to see, do things really match up with authentic eagles that is real. And if they don't, if you have, a couple red flags, there's a chance that probably you're looking at a counterfeit.
Yeah. That is just so obvious now that you pointed that out. That I absolutely missed that. Totally missed that.
So let's throw it on a scale and see if they've got that right. We haven't even flipped the coin over yet either.
Yeah. So we still got a lot more to. Oh yeah, I see that.
So this is slightly heavy.
Yeah.
The highest I've ever seen a silver eagle put this particular scale is 1.05, and that's unusual. But 1.06 would lead me to believe it's slightly heavy. So again, getting the weight correct is very difficult on these. Now, when we go back, I also want to check by pairing this over here. I really hadn't held the coin yet. Let's check the thickness too. Okay. Sometimes the thickness has a little bit to do with counterfeiting also, because if you're looking at a coin that does weigh 1 ounce, but it's not quite the diameter of an eagle, chances are it's going to compensate for the weight, it's going to have to be a little thicker. So if it's a little bit thicker, again, it's hard to see, but I think honestly you should be able to see that the counterfeit is a little bit thicker. So
yeah, I can see that.
That's another thing. If you don't have a scale, flip the coins over, compare the thickness. All silver eagles should be the same thickness.
Yeah, that's definitely thicker. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Wow.
Now I know the rims on some of the earlier Silver Eagles honestly were raised a little bit higher. If you notice, if you've got Silver Eagle tubes, they've changed over the years, but the rims stood a little bit higher or lower on some of the years, but the thickness of this is obvious in terms of being counterfeit. So that's another thing you can check. Again, if you don't have anything else, you know, if you don't have the scale, you don't have a meter, you don't have any other tools, again, visually is how you have to check these out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, well, I'm dying to put it on that Sigma now, just to see how that measures
Kind of
up.
willing to.
Now, listen, let's just let everybody realize, if you put that on that Sigma and it tests good, then we probably got a dilemma here, right?
Yes, yeah.
I'm dying to see what this is going to be.
Well, my guess is, and again, we're looking to make sure that, let's put the real one on first and see what, you know,
Yeah, that's
it should be in between the two parentheses here.
Yeah.
So we know what it should look like. So,
drum roll, please.
yeah, and I'm pretty well sure what the outcome of this is going to be. It's way
Wow.
off to the
And
right.
that's
which,
not even in the brackets. Nowhere near.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
way
it's
out here. So that's
completely
not.
off.
There's no silver at all in that.
There's none in this one, and you know, this would coming from the same one. I'm sure it's going to be the same.
Oh, yeah.
So, and again, these are not magnetic. You know, they don't say copy on them anywhere. They, you know, have a correct date. They're not like.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely meant to deceive. Well, I hope the guy that sent these in, and like I said, I don't want to, because he asked me not to use his name for, I guess, obvious reasons. But I hope he doesn't have a bunch of these. I hope he didn't buy like a tube of these, or God forbid, a monster box of these. Hopefully, this is just all he has. And so, you know, I appreciate him sending them to me so we can make this video. But I'm going to leave these with you so you can destroy them. I'm sure you get.
Well,
these
we
to
actually
come
have
in.
Counterfeit Display here at the
Yeah.
store. I can get that out if you want to film it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's
Just
do
to show
that.
something.
You got quite a selection there of.
Yeah, this is what we put together as a counterfeit display, just to, and I can, again, just as people come through to identify what counterfeits may look like. Some are intended to deceive, others are kind of copy coins, but they don't say copy on them. Once they say copy on them, they kind of excuse themselves from being, from being actual. You know, once they put copy on the coin, they kind of excuse themselves from trying to do anything, you know, illegal with the coin, because it does say copy. So copy coins. Yeah, I know.
Silvertown bar in there.
Yeah.
You got clearly marked there, counterfeit display. Yeah, look at that. You got a Silvertown bar in there.
That's an extremely good copy of it.
I'll tell you right now, that would absolutely deceive me. I would absolutely buy that. No questions asked. Now there will be questions asked.
Unfortunately.
Wow, that's a pretty good fake there. Now these that you got here, they all came in to your store?
Yes, and we catch them right up front.
Yeah.
But I ask people. Most people, honestly, at least they present themselves as not knowing, and that's fine.
Yeah, give them the benefit of the doubt.
You know, I do ask if they would mind leaving one, so I can put them in the display to show. I mean, you know, you get into Silver Eagles like this
that one looks
like it was made to be approved, but the weight on that obviously isn't right. You can feel that one.
Yeah, that one feels. Wow. It actually feels lighter than one.
That one's light.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty amazing. And all these are counterfeit. You got a counterfeit Morgan there. I don't think I've ever seen one of them, and I know they are counterfeited.
Trade dollars, very common counterfeit.
The trade dollar.
Yes. These were the silver dollars that were traded with China in the late 1870s.
Right. So these are actually kind of sought after. I think the ones that are not copies, because I know a lot of private mints, they make a copy of it, like a generic. thing, but they are copies. I mean, they're obviously copies, and they make them that way, but they're made out of silver.
Yeah, an actual. I mean, just a warning to everybody: if you're going to buy a trade dollar, always buy it graded.
Yeah.
And varying grades. You don't have to buy top end grades, but as long as it's in a PCGS, ANACS, NGC holder, authenticity is not a question at that point.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's nice. Man, that's amazing that well, you can add these two to your display there.
And the reason, again, we do this for education purposes for people that want to come in and look at it and, maybe do a comparison of what they bought or we can always test it for them, but we do that as a service. Anybody that walks in, we've tested a number of silver and gold pieces for people through the years just to give them peace of mind that what they did buy was legitimate, and that's fine. But we also do this to show them that that you just can't be 100% certain if you don't have or make the effort to make sure what you're getting is authentic.
And it's just not worth it. It's better to pass on a good deal that you think you have. Like if you're like, this is a great price for this coin, it's better to pass on that great deal than to buy something that's fake.
And that's well said, because chances are, like we've mentioned before, if it appears to be too good of a deal, it should raise some red flags. There isn't that many great deals out there that just fall into people's laps that
you're right about that.
Worth the risk.
Yeah. There are deals out there, but if you buy silver or any bullion, you know what the price range should be. And if it's way outside of those, then I would definitely question the authenticity of what you're buying.
Either the authenticity or where it's coming from.
Where it's coming from, right? Exactly. All right, Phil, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. The thing is not to be overly paranoid. I mean, don't think that everything or every coin that you or every silver round or bar that you come across is fake. But keep in mind, though, that fakes are out there, and there's some very good fakes out there. So a couple of ways to combat that without having the equipment that Phil has is just buy from reputable dealers. Buy from people that you have bought from in the past. And if you're going to buy something from a private dealer like I do sometimes, understand that if there's any question, if you have any doubts, it's better to err on the side of caution. At least that's just the way I look at it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching my video. I hope what we share with you was very informative, and I hope it helps you out somewhat. Hope you found it interesting. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. You'll be notified as soon as I put out another video. Keep stacking. Peace.